what we look for in a technology partner. Well, what's going to make our life easier would be step one. Make it where it's seamless, where it doesn't affect the management team at all, or very little, and a partner that wants to grow with us.
And they're willing to listen to what our needs are, and that's the one thing we really love about KitchenSync.
Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I'm your host, Sean Walchef, coming to you from Bulgaria, the other side of the world. We believe so much in storytelling, so much in technology, and so much in hospitality that we've been doing this show since 2017. We're obsessed with finding the best stories of restaurateurs, of owners, operators, how they're doing it, the tools that they're using. And today we have a very special episode. We have David Valentine, Adam Rainey. They are with the Three Keys Hospitality Group. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us.
So let's start. Three keys. Are we missing a key to the group? Is this two keys to the group?
We have two out of the three keys here today. The third position
two
is
out of the
up for
three
grabs. We might find someone today to fill that role. You never know.
Can you bring us back to when the Three Keys restaurant group launched?
Well, actually, it started with two keys because Three Keys wasn't relevant to the number of people in it. It was more of a
It was in reference to Three Keys Ferry Street.
Three Keys Ferry Street is a building that we own in McDonough, Georgia. Three Keys was also one of my management tools that I used for years and years. And there was, whenever I hired somebody, I said, there's three keys to your success with us. And the first one is you have to be a nice person. The second one, you have to be present and available in our space. And the third one is you need to protect the house. So you were hired and fired on the three keys of our agreement. So, and then there's Key West, which is where we'll end up someday and not be found. So we decided that when we started this company, it was going to be Three Keys and Company or Three Keys Hospitality. And that was the premise of the name. So if you ask, hopefully, anybody in our organization what that means, they'll be able to tell you.
Can you tell us how big is the organization? How many restaurants are you running? How many concepts? And
Well, we own 2 and we operate 7 right now.
Okay.
We have a brand called Nick and Norman's, and it is owned by Norman Reedus and Greg Nicotero of The Walking Dead, along with 4 other owners that are similar in scope to that work. And then it's all Adam's fault, but I have a company, a restaurant group called Crust and Craft. It's a pizza concept, started in McDonough, Georgia, and we have our second one in Greenville, South Carolina. And we are just finishing up our franchising opportunities on all that paperwork and business to start franchising. So we built our management company to be kind of a franchisor-based process.
It's fantastic. Can you bring us back to when you guys both started doing business together?
I was a Cisco rep at the time, and I met David Valentine when he was the general manager of Nick and Norman's Sonoya when it was one location. And from there, he opened up the second location. At the same time, he opened up Crust and Craft, the very first Crust and Craft in McDonough, Georgia, while also opening a barbecue concept at the same time. And I was in Cisco rep at the time. I left Cisco about 2 years after our first meeting, and I disappeared for about a year. Went and worked at another distributor, and David called me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just over this crap." And he said, "Well, you got to come work for me. You got to come work for me. You got to come work for me." And here I am, 3 years into it, and we're rocking and rolling this thing.
Well, and he's got the nice, appropriate version of the story. Mine was this. I can't say bad things on this, right? But
You can. Oh,
I can really.
this is for business owners and entrepreneurs. We're not bullshitting each other here.
We all know the words. I'm going to say
Truth vibrates the fastest.
All right. So this guy introduces me to somebody, and we're at a party and we're drinking, and he wants me to buy his building, and he owned like 90 properties, and he wanted to sell me one. I'm like, why do you want to sell me this one building out of 90? So that was kind of a red flag. But then stupid me, I buy it. Okay, I buy it anyway. And that turned out to be a great thing. Adam introduced me to this guy. Then a couple of years later, he introduces me to this guy that just sold his pest control company for a bunch of millions of dollars and wanted to do a pizza restaurant. And I said, all right, well, I'll be your consultant. Well, 2 months later, I was his partner instead because he didn't want to do any of the work. Okay, that's how those guys are. Everybody thinks they can run a restaurant, right? Everybody can do this. It's an easy thing. All doctors are capable. Everybody is.
Correct.
But when I wanted Adam, I couldn't afford him because we were still like young. We had one restaurant, and we were kind of doing our thing. But finally, I got to the point where I could afford him, and that's when I called him and I said, "Look, you got me into all this stuff, the building and the landlording and the other business. You got to help me get out of it, okay? I mean, that's what this is all about, all right." So he finally agreed. I had to convince his wife that he wouldn't work weekends. That was a big important step to this thing, okay? So I'm very protective of the sanctity of their marriage and his little kids. Other than
Very
that,
much appreciated.
Other than that, we're working hard and putting processes together. And because of Adam, my phone rings less and less all the time. So it's working out great.
And because of the processes, mine rings less and less all the time.
Yeah, we've been through it a little bit.
Systems and processes make this business.
Can you let's talk about systems and processes? Obviously, we're obsessed with systems, processes, technology that helps us build better systems and processes. Can you share a little bit inside the playbook that is your restaurant tech stack? What helps you guys run fast?
Well, I'll go backwards first with my background is a long time with Outback Steakhouse, some time with Darden, big box stuff, right? I'm an old steak and ale guy. It was all about the process, right? I mean, we all learned about how to train and books of training materials with checklists. But then when we got into the oversight part, I learned from being an area director early on that there was a lot of red tape. I mean, you couldn't get anything done. You always had to go through somebody else, and then because of that, the GM was left on an island to try to fix something on a Saturday or get a piece of equipment or get just something the tools that they need, down to silverware. And so as we started building this thing, I had two things in mind. And one is I want to be able to oversee franchisees down the road and support them. The oversight might be the wrong word, but really that's what it is. You're supporting someone to make sure it's easy for them to do their job, which makes it easy for you to oversee. So we decided that we were going to build in back of the house systems that restaurant managers can take advantage of instead of kind of being stuck out on an island whenever they're out there running their restaurants. For example, Instacart has saved my life. Okay, our distributors deliver most of the time. They deliver what they're supposed to. A lot of times they don't. A lot of times our guys are doing more sales than they thought, or an item catches fire and it sells real well, and they need tomatoes or they need paper towels. So they don't go to the store. We don't allow them to go shopping. They reach out to us and we get it sent to them. And that may seem like a little thing, but when you add up all these little things, it works. Adam's in charge of all the facilities. And when something breaks, we have all of our people in place and we have companies that will come out and do what they need to do. We have relationships with all of them and we're on a priority status. And the managers don't have to worry about it when the AC goes down, because we're going to take care of it. And all of these businesses are their own animals. I mean, it's so crazy how the water heaters break in one restaurant 3 times, but in the other restaurant it hasn't gone down in 10 years. Knock on wood somewhere. So we get to know our buildings as well as the managers that come and go, and there's a process for everything that happens in those buildings now where managers can focus on people, which is what we're really about.
I'd love for you. Can you share a little bit on the financial side? Are there any technology tools that you guys use to run profitable restaurants as you grow and scale?
The integrations are really kind of where it starts. When I took over Nick and Norman's, they had a terrible POS system. It was horrible. It was the one Cisco talked them into. They didn't really know any better. We went to Toast right out of the gate. Got involved with Toast early on. We do we do beta testing for them too, so we have a good relationship with Toast. We said we need a reservation system that integrates with Toast. Okay, so we went to OpenTable and we talked to them, and that was an easy do. As time goes, we look into different things all the time about what we can do to make that better than OpenTable, because we're always trying to figure that out. We have the biggest thing that we've dealt with in the past year or so has been the accounting process and the bookkeeping process. So we started with a person and Restaurant 365, and we liked Restaurant 365. It was ahead of the curve for a while there, but it's difficult to teach. And you can only put like one person in that seat, to be the driver. And if that one person isn't available for some reason or another, or life changes, now you've got a high learning curve on teaching again. And so we found that as we got bigger, it became harder and harder to use Restaurant 365, not easier. So we made a change, and we went. We tried a private accountant for a while. That failed miserably, and then we went to KitchenSync, and now we're using KitchenSync to integrate with our POS.
KitchenSync,
MarginEdge for our inventories, and it's turned into a 10 to 15 day turnaround on end of month to a 3 to 5 day turnaround on end of month, and we get to sleep 10 nights better now.
How did you guys find out about KitchenSync and MarginEdge?
Who introduced us?
Vince.
Yeah. Yep. Just one of our old vendor partners. He was doing some consulting. We were working with him. Our goal as a company is to help other companies and other restaurant groups with their purchasing, with their integrations, with their operations. We've sat and had lunch with different operators that may be just starting their second restaurant or their first restaurant, because these organizations that sell to you, they love to take your money, right? They love to give you an 18 to 20% margin on your food, and we don't do that. We try to combine things. We have different organizations within our belt that make the back of the house go well for us, and they're profitable for us. So we have more room in the front of the house to have fair menu prices. And so Adam and I worked really hard to make this as seamless as possible. We could take on a restaurant group, now with 2 or 3 locations, and handle their bookkeeping, their marketing,
payroll,
their payroll, their P&Ls. What else? Everything. I mean, the owners of Nick and Norman's don't know anybody's name. They don't know who to call, and we want it that way. That's a compliment.
Yep, for sure. Can you share a little bit about how the growth trajectory of Nick and Norman's, how it started and where it's going?
Okay, started off in Sonoya, Georgia, back in 2016. David got there in 2019.
17.
17.
Late 17.
Okay, 17.
Yeah.
And started pushing for franchising. That was your original goal, right?
Yeah, they wanted to franchise. I was there for about a year, and I came because it was a goal of theirs to grow. Okay, they didn't want just one location. They wanted to. Of course, you have celebrities and like Norman Reedus and Greg Nicotero, and Greg wants to put one in his hometown in Calabasas, California, and Norman wants to one in New York City and London. And I'm like, guys, come on, we're a southern restaurant that serves burgers. Let's be a little more realistic.
Start south, and then
we'll grow from there. Start in the Atlanta market.
Yep.
So yeah, I was there acting as a GM the first year to take all that base that I just talked about to try to begin that base, and then as we accomplished that, our second restaurant was in Chattanooga. And
at the same time, you were building up McDonald's.
I was building the pizza restaurant, the barbecue restaurant, and the second Nick and Norman's during COVID while we were shut down at the same time.
And that's when 3 Keys was founded as well.
Right. That's when we became a management company.
And then from Chattanooga, Lexington was opened in 21.
A year later. The goal of the Nick and Norman's ownership is to build 1 per year with the profit from the existing restaurants, and not to have any debt, which they don't. And our benefit, the way our world is, We're successful when we make them money and we get paid based on sales. We don't get paid based on profitability, but if we make enough money, we can open up the next one. And so that's our incentive. And if we don't make money in the current ones, we can't open another one, So it's kind of built in as an annuity to the ownership. They don't take any money out. They've committed to that for a period of time. And our goal is to build 1 to 2 per year. As we get to the 5th restaurant, which we are now, we could probably get 2 open a year based on the economy and everything else that's going on in the world. But we have the infrastructure to build 2 a year now. And if they get wet feet, is it wet feet? Is that the right thing? Cold, wet feet. Then we'll just build a Crust and Craft instead. That's where Crust and Craft came in. All right, you guys, you don't want to build a restaurant? We'll build one. We'll open another one of ours. So, and then we've put them strategically. We have a Crust and Craft an hour away from our first Nick and Norman's. We have a Crust and Craft 6 minutes away from our 5th Nick and Norman's in Greenville, South Carolina. They're right down the street from each other. So if we see a site that doesn't work for a Nick and Norman's, we look at it for a Crust and Craft. That's how it goes, because I'm usually out there looking for Nick and Norman's sites mostly. And so when that happens, now you have synergy between employees. They're 2 different entities, so they can work in both restaurants and get extra hours.
Yep.
You're purchasing. We use the same, toilet paper in both restaurants, so they can borrow it from each other. We have the same dispensers. We have the same raw materials in some cases. So that helps our purchasing power and any of those rebates that the manufacturers give. So that's what Adam really does is handles all that shopping, all the purchasing stuff, which he's really good at on this, coming from the Cisco side.
So we have a lot of restaurant owners, operators that have been listening to this show. They're curious about technology. You mentioned KitchenSync. Can you share a little bit about what do you guys look for in a technology partner?
Sure. You want that one?
What we look for in a technology partner. Well, what's going to make our life easier would be step 1, make it where it's seamless, where it doesn't affect the management team at all, or very little, and a partner that wants to grow with us.
And they're willing to listen to what our needs are. And that's the one thing we really love about KitchenSync. And I'm gonna shout out Molly Loveday on that, because she's always open to what we're thinking, what we're not getting. We had a rough start with KitchenSync. Their sales department didn't talk to their operators, it seemed. It was just, they weren't on the same page.
Yep.
And once we got going and they understood what we were trying to accomplish, I think we were kind of unique to anybody that's worked with them in the past. We said, listen, we have a central management company that does all this stuff. The restaurants don't. So we don't need to pay you guys for all the things that you want to charge the restaurants. So we got that invoice down, and we took it upon ourselves on the management side. And now the pricing seems very fair for both of us. And that we're in a groove now, and it's very automated. And so they're working when we're sleeping, and we wake up to what we need to do, and so do they.
If they have questions about something, it's in a queue. We answer the queue, and it gets resolved. If we need to change something, move something on the P&L, it's all done digitally. We don't have to put a phone. We don't have to call somebody. We don't have to put an email together. It's all in one platform where we can just click, click, click. Yep, done. Resolved. Great. Move on.
So it's worked out really well, and it's mainly because they have an open mind as opposed to some other things that we've dealt with 365 in the past. That it was a nightmare just to get a payroll change done, just to find a person. I think they're on the right track. I think that we're pretty pleased with what we've done with them so far. And the integration with MarginEdge seems pretty seamless.
It's been awesome.
It's been really great. It was a kind of a scary thing for us to tell all of our managers they had to change how they count and the process they need to use, but that went really well.
I mean, it was a setup at first, but everything that's going to be worth it's going to take a little setup to it. But after the setup, it's a monitoring platform at that point. We're not having to be in 365 every day. We're in MarginEdge once a week, making sure that things are flowing correctly, making sure invoices are getting paid, blah, blah, blah.
And we don't write checks unless we absolutely have to, and things are on auto pay most of the time. We don't, if it says payable in 30 days, we pay it in 30 minutes most of the time, we get it out of the way. And I think that helps us sleep better. It helps us not be on defense when it comes to invoicing and billing. you're going to make it or you're not. You know, you need to have the assets in the bank to make sure that you can pay the bills when they come in. You know, anybody dancing with that is not going to live as long as hopefully we are.
For sure. Is there anything that you wish somebody told you earlier on, which you know now, like the advice that you give to other restaurants that are trying to scale? Everything? Don't do it.
No, we don't have all the answers. Don't do it is a good one.
No. If I could give somebody a word of advice, if they're wanting to grow to their second location and then their third location, don't do it quickly. Patience. Find out what market you're going into. Do your research on where you're going, and don't rush in to open a third one right after you open the second one. Even if the money seems like it's there and you got the opportunity to do it, take your time with it. Make sure you do the second one right, and then you can go to the third one. Once you get the third one open, it gets easier.
It does get easier. And I'll add to that by saying, once the money starts flowing and you feel the success, don't go out and spend it. Go hire somebody and go get another partner and go make it possible to build that base behind the scenes, because that's where it's going to work. You know, you can't run two restaurants at the same time. People try it. It's hard. They get the husband doing one and the wife doing the other, and they never see each other, and then they're divorced and each of them has a restaurant. You know, I mean, that's not the recipe. Put the money back into infrastructure, and then get to the point where you've got something that you can, you know, take a vacation on, or even a day off. You know, I'm the worst one that should probably say that, but you know, it's happening within our organization. Our people are working 5-day weeks. They're taking vacations. You know, we have a fairly low management turnover. We feel real good about our leadership teams. You know, within our Three Keys organization, we have a director of social media and guest guest interaction. We have a director of training. We have an area director. We're working on a second one. With 8 restaurants, we'll have 2 area directors. And so that infrastructure makes a huge difference. And, you know, we're working on things like, you know, digital training programs and you know, just making sure that we have the ability to not be behind all the time, because you can get behind on all that stuff away from just selling tickets.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys taking the time, David, Adam. We'll put links into the show notes for Nick and Norman's and Crust and Craft. If people want to reach out to you about potentially your management group helping their restaurant group, what's the best way for them to do that?
You, me, us,
either one of us.
Either one of us. We've got a few people. We don't have a website for Three Keys and Company. We kind of stay on the witness protection program mostly because we're busy.
My job is to get you off the witness.
Yes, I know you just did. You just did.
Get you guys LinkedIn profiles. Get you some legitimate digital footprints.
Yeah, and that's Molly's fault too. I'll give that one to her too. So David at Three Keys and Company, Adam at Three Keys and Company, all spelled out. .com. We're easy to find, really. If you there aren't too many Three Keys and Companies out there, but we're proud of that so far.
We appreciate it. And if you guys ever make it to the West Coast, please come visit our restaurants. We have Cali barbecue restaurants in San Diego. I don't know if you guys ever make it to Southern California, but anybody that's listening, anybody that's watching, including you gentlemen, please make a trip out. Come enjoy some barbecue at our shop.
Oh, excellent. Great. Love it. I mean, someday I'll interview you on how you can make a barbecue restaurant work, because we had all kinds of fun with ours.
You build a media company on top of it.
There you go. There you go. That's the secret. That's it. Chinese laundromat. Perfect.
Yeah. So selling stories is more profitable than selling ribs. But no, we love selling ribs. We're grateful to still be in business 17 years later,
nice.
3 locations. But even more happy to spend time with gentlemen like you that are paving the way for our industry and giving back. So thanks for sharing the secrets.
Right. Thanks for having us.
How difficult and beautiful this business can be at the same time.
Absolutely. It's very rewarding once you can wake up the next day and do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Keep playing the game. That's what we're here for. Well, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this long, you are part of the community. You're part of the tribe. We can't do this alone. We started, no one was listening. Now we have a community of digital hospitality leaders all over the globe. Please check out our new series called Restaurant Technology Substack. It's a Substack newsletter. It's free. It's some of our deep work on the best technology for restaurants. Also, go to YouTube and subscribe to Cali Barbecue Media. Cali BBQ Media on YouTube. We've been putting out a lot of new original content. Hopefully you guys like that content. If you want to work with us, go to betheshow.media. We show up all over the United States, some international countries. We would love to work with you and your growing brand on digital storytelling. You can reach out to me anytime at Sean P. Walchef on Instagram. I'm weirdly available. Stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you next episode.